a good morning to you. Welcome to Asake Online. My name is Zenzele Ndebele, and this is the breakfast show. Today in our program, we want to talk about tourism. I know many people and will agree with me that Zimbabwe is a very beautiful country. We have lots of places where we can visit and enjoy, and most of us don't even know that there are some places that exist where you can actually go and relax with your family, with your friends. So to help me discuss, tourism in Zimbabwe, in this program, I'll be talking to Godfrey Koti, who is the head of Corporate Affairs, Zimbabwe Tourism Authority, and we want to know about some of the programs that they are doing, and just tell us about efforts that they are making as Zimbabwe Tourism Authority to promote Zimbabwe locally and abroad. Koti, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I mean, the first question to you is, I know, like many other industries, there has been COVID and it has been affecting a lot of industries. How has the tourism, the hospitality industry in Zimbabwe been affected by COVID?
Thank you very much, Zenzele. I think you've hit the nail right on the head when you say tourism is one of the most affected as far as this COVID pandemic is concerned. World over, we are talking about losses that are tripling and getting close to the 3 to 4 billion to 4 trillion mark in terms of losses between tourism and the aviation sector. And back home here, I think we have lost a comparably $1 billion worth of business, worth of revenue that has gone, somewhere down the drain because of the inactivity from the international sector and arrivals that have come into Zimbabwe. Remember, ordinarily we were a country that has depended a lot on, outside tourists coming into Zimbabwe. But this time around, it has been very, very difficult without that kind of activity. And over the years, we have been growing in leaps and bounds. We talk about that $1 billion being lost within the sector. We have seen in 2019, the tourism sector raking in a combined $1.3 billion. And this $1.3 billion comes from a base of domestic tourism, comes from a base of international tourism, which contributed about $1 billion, and the other 300 million was contributed by the domestic sector. So we saw it fit now to say we need to find strategies to come back from this, difficult phase now. So we are grappling with that at the moment. We are trying to find our feet. We're trying to recreate and readjust even to the new way of doing business, if you like.
So how is the recovery process? Are we seeing visitors trickling in, or we are still in the 2020 mode?
From an international perspective, Zenzele, there hasn't been much improvement. An odd visit here and there. From a business perspective, for leisure, people are not traveling. People are scared. There's still restrictions across the world. But we do hope that there will be a bit of letting down as time goes on, and we'll see a bit of improvement within the international circuit. But locally, what we have done also, we have said it is important for us to try and come up with plans, strategies, if you like, that will help us to recover should the world find itself opening again, in the nearest future. And we think that it will happen quite soon. So we have put together what we are calling the National Tourism Recovery and Growth Strategy together. And this strategy has its own pillars that, will see its success. And some of it is the digital side of things. Most of it is the product development. Most of it will depend on the aggression that we will have within our marketing efforts, within our visibility efforts, within our ability to push destinations in Zimbabwe, both locally and internationally. So we're anchored on three phases as a strategy right now. One is that of the domestic market. The second is the regional market, which is your Africa and surrounding areas. Then the third is the international market. And now we're talking about those guys that have managed to get us to that $1 billion mark and things like that. But we felt also that in the meantime, there is need for us to try and cultivate the $300 million that we got in 2019 to try and make it, much better within the 2021 financial year. And we believe that with a vibrant domestic tourism campaign, we can make things work.
Yeah, you're talking about the strategies that you've put in place to try and revive the tourism industry. And one of the things that I've seen online is the Zimbo campaign. Zimbo is Zimbabwe Ipo or Zimbabwe Sharp. Tell us about that. What is it all about?
So thank you so much, Zenzele. So in that strategy, like I did say that, domestic then becomes a focus of us. We had to find a positioning statement that would be probably comfortable in people's lips, that would be catchy in people's eyes, that would also be quite catchy in people's ears. So we did a little survey or competition, if you like, where we called creatives from across the country to say what would be, a nice and vibrant and catchy phrase or sell phrase that we can use. And we received about 6,627 entries of these interesting names that came. So the ones that eventually made it were Simbo, Izimiami, and Varacha. Those ones, eventually came up as the top three. So we also had to try and find the one that would be, sort of the lead catchphrase. And the Zimbo eventually made, I think you can see it here, that's the one that eventually made it, hashtag Izimiami, hashtag Varacha. And the Varacha is spelled in a Ndebele way as well. That was quite deliberate also to try and, because Zimbo is predominantly from the northern part of the country, which, it resonates quite well with the Shona dialect. But it's also a phrase that is used for ukuba sharp, for ukuba good, for ukuba mnandi, for ukuba easy, udiva, uchimbilana zitu, so we were trying to catch everyone with us, and everyone uses the word bo, really, pretty much, most people, at least in the country. So they would at least have met that word somewhere in their interaction. So hence us putting the Zimbabwe and the bo together to say Zimbabwe is actually good for travel. Zimbabwe is ready for travel. So that's why we ended up coming with that catchphrase. So it is a campaign that is focused on encouraging the domestic market from partaking in the tourism product, pro-tourism activities. Holidays are not supposed to be a thing that we imagine every time. We also have to experience them. And in particular, if they are in Zimbabwe, we all have a right to travel as Zimbabweans. And we saw it fit to say, we now then need to engage everyone else, including the stakeholders themselves. Our lead partner in this is the Tourism Business Council, the Hospitality Association, the Safari Operators Association, the Tour Guides Association, people who are within the tourism business in any way or another, to say they need to understand what we're trying to achieve. And luckily, we had the buy-in, and here we are today. We have launched this campaign. It's about 4 months now on, and it's been looking really good.
So if ngaskhuluma ukuthi people should vakacha Zimbabwe iribo, koma price acho aribo ere kuma hotels up, because I've always heard people saying our resorts for locals prices are expensive. And what can you say about the pricing that is in the hotel industry?
So This has been really a thorny issue, Zenzele. Abantu bati tourism yadura kunzima ukuhamba phandle lapha abanye bayabesiyazi ukubatika mdara zvakasunga. The one strategy that we've employed, as I alluded to earlier on, that we have come together with the industry, the players themselves, the people that own these activities, the people that own these hotels, and people that manage the wildlife in the country. We've come together and said, okay, guys, we all have lost some sort of income somewhere, somehow, because we were dependent on the outside market to make most of our revenue lines. We now need to focus on the domestic guy, local lady, who is not making as much as the international tourist. But we also have to be cognizant of the fact that they must partake in the tourism, activities. So we need to then now interrogate our cost structures. We now need to interrogate what we can reduce and how we can reduce it, and we meet each other halfway. So we went on to, interrogate the cost structures as a sector, and then went to government, to the treasury to be precise. And we asked for some incentives, and some of those incentives that came were, the reduction of duty on tourism products. We also have had, a tax break from a value-added tax perspective, which is your VAT. That's 15% out of that, and it's zero rated also to all the other tourism contributing products. So if you look at a meal that you are going to have, you have tomatoes, you have potatoes, you have baked beans, you have eggs. All these things are supposed to then pay VAT somehow when you buy them. So we needed to zero rate them as well for us to be able to really feel the effect of the reduced VAT. So we agreed on that with the Ministry of Finance, and we're very grateful there to the leadership in that ministry for them coming through. So you'll find that there are some players, Zenzele, abazathath's cut to reduce their pricing, but they must also be aware of around us. It's better to get something at the end of the day than have 100% of nothing. So siyazama kakhulu sibili ngazo zonke indlela ukukhulumisana ukuxoxisana labosomabhizinisi abe-tourism ukuthi singani singathola indlela yokuthi sigcinane kuhle lama-customers ethu. So we're really trying hard. They are understanding. We are also trying to fight for them through the government structures, because we're their representative body eventually.
So is this the time where I say "nda" in Venda?
To say thank you, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, one of Bulawayo, for example, let's talk about Bulawayo. It's people call it a cultural hub. Some call it a melting point. And if you look around Bulawayo, they're quite interesting places that some of them have been more like neglected. If you're talking about Ekatate, Matopos, Rhodes, Mziliga's grave, there are so many, Epupu, Elupane, there are so many places that are linked to cultural activities. As the tourism authority, what are you doing to make sure that these areas are known, people visit them, and there's a bit of historical or cultural tourism around these places? So
thank you so much, Zenzele. I'm as we speak right now, I'm actually in Bulawayo. I'm in our Bulawayo office. We have a very vibrant and very energetic team that is ably led by one Novio Matonsi. We are based right within the CBD, just next to the Rainbow Hotel. In case you don't know where it is, come there and ask these questions, because we have the information on our fingertips. What we are doing now with the Bulawayo region, so to speak, and these surrounding areas, we are upping our marketing game. We are sharpening the service provision from a training perspective with service excellence. We are also working hard to assist our players in terms of developing the product, so that we have a very real product that people can explore without any challenges whatsoever. And then we also are focusing on marketing it aggressively. Like you rightfully put it, this is where you find a lot of things within the country from a cultural perspective. You can never get any better. I think I would like to say even within the southern region, you can't get any better than Bulawayo, Matabele North and Matabele South. So we have collaborated with players around this area and to try and get as much activity as possible and refine the product as much as we can. So we are really hard at work. You can check out our website as well on the tourism website, the ZTA website, where you can find more information as to what you can do when you are in Bulawayo, what can you do when you're within this part of the country.
Yeah, talking about Bulawayo and the many things that are happening, and I hope that people also start to visit these areas, because I know we have places that are known like Victoria Falls, Wange, but we also have smaller areas of cultural significance that people can really visit and enjoy. We have had talks about stories about ZTA working with Zimbabwe Cricket in terms of promoting sports tourism. How is sports important, and how does it fit in this whole issue of promoting tourism?
So, my brother, I think you will agree with me that sports like arts has a huge following, and that following is something that tourism can tap into. It's something that tourism must tap into. It's something that tourism should use to be able to extend its bandwidth in terms of influence, in terms of awareness, in terms of marketing, and we are going to be working with each and every sector to make sure that we get the message across about tourism, the message across about this Zimbo Izimiami campaign. And we like you alluded to earlier on, that we have a very healthy partnership with the Zimbabwe Cricket, where they are carrying us on their international jersey to try and also speak to markets that are cricket loving. We're a cricketing nation as well. And we will be going into other disciplines, football, rugby. We're hoping to be locking those deals very soon. We have our Olympics team preparing to go to the Olympics as well. We're hoping that they will be able to carry a tourism message with them. So we are very excited and delighted to be getting into the sporting sector and talking tourism there.
This is quite interesting, because as you are saying, sports, the guys are always traveling here and there. So if they can tag along or carry you in one form or the other, definitely you'll be marketed while they're also playing.
Absolutely. If you look at very recently, we had an ambassadorial appointment for tourism with one Tino Kadewere, who plays for Lyon in France. Very powerful team in the Champions League there, as well as the football ranks in Europe. He's a very influential figure there as well. So we figured it would be great for him to be a part of telling the Zimbabwean story, because there's no one who can tell our story better than we can. And we need our own people to go out there and tell this story. We've got one Tendai Mutawarira, former Sables player, former Sables player and former Proteas player. He plays rugby there in South Africa, doing quite well as well, going all the way to the World Cup. He's one of our ambassadors. He has to preach the gospel about Zimbabwe tourism, and he's been doing that in a very great way. And we've got other ambassadors across the platform. From a sporting perspective, we're looking at getting even further and more people to buy into our tourism vision.
Now, finally, post-COVID, what's the future for tourism in Zimbabwe?
We believe that there's going to be a travel boom, so we must be ready for it. That's why you see the minister, Obaba Mangalisonto, has been leading us in making sure that we create a product that is sufficient, that is, quite good and solid, because people will start coming in. And when they do, they will want to experience more. So we have to discover these places and develop them into world-class facilities, so that when they eventually land into Zimbabwe, we have a very great product. And above everything else, the Zimbabweans themselves, they must be able to experience and explore this product.
Thank you very much, Godfrey Koti, Head Corporate Affairs Zimbabwe Tourism Authority, for giving us this time to talk to you about what Zimbabwe Tourism Authority is doing to promote local tourism, but also regional and international, because we know the industry has been affected by COVID, not only in Zimbabwe, but globally. But we hope that at the end of the day, there will be a light at the end of the tunnel, and people are going to come, and jobs are going to be saved. It's not every day that we talk tourism, but it's quite important for people to visit. There are people here in Bulawayo who have never been to Kami Ruins. We have never been to Matopos. We have never been to Chipangali. And so, but we're saying, it's not really, it doesn't need a lot of money. You can drive to Matopo, and or even Chipangali, spend a day there and come back. So thank you very much for your time. My name is Zenzele Ndebele. Till we meet again in other programs, have a good day.